Hello everyone, it's Noel from Noel's Nook, and let me explain why there's only one Inktober in this week's video. To put it simply, I've tried to draw or sketch out the ideas for my Inktober prompts, and then I'll color them accordingly for the video each week, or at least that's how I wanted it to go. But I assure you, I will have the rest of my Inktober drawings done by next Friday, but until then, let's focus on the painting before us. The original prompt for this was a half-orc with a holy symbol threatening a dragon. But like I mentioned before, if I find something sounds too complicated or difficult, I'll simplify it just to get it done. I actually really liked the way this turned out. Since the inspiration for this dragon is based pretty heavily around the Chinese dragon, I decided a more painterly aesthetic, the kind you'd see in a lot of Asian paintings, was appropriate, so I nixed the dip pens and opted for brushes instead. I actually really liked the way it turned out. Sometimes it's good to let go and not be so uptight with your art. For color, I used my homemade watercolors, but I also used a little Dr. P.H. Martin's and some Kuretake paints as well. Every time I use the homemade watercolors, I get more and more impressed. Seriously, the watercolor pencil versions of these paints were so terrible, and to get this kind of payoff from them just floors me. By dripping the Dr. P.H. Martin's pigment onto the paper, I allowed it to spread and do its thing. However, when it came to using the Kuretake, I wanted a little bit more control, so I waited for my paper to dry as much as possible before using them, while being careful not to overuse them. Sorry for being the absolute worst this month. Next week is the last week I'll post Inktober related anything. I'll go more in depth with my experience with it next week, but until then, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more art related content, I would totally appreciate if you would subscribe, and remember to draw what you love and love what you draw. By dripping the Dr. P.H. Martin's pigment onto the paper, I allowed it to spread and do its thing. However, when it came to using the Kuretake, I wanted to be a little bit more... that's not what I wrote.